I found the condom wrapper wedged between the passenger seat and the center console of my Camry on a Tuesday morning. Not mine. Haven't bought that brand in 15 years. My hands went cold holding that little foil square, turning it over in the dim garage light. Trojan. Ribbed. The kind you grab at a gas station when you're in a hurry and don't give a damn about quality. I stood there for maybe 2 minutes, my brain doing somersaults trying to make it make sense. Emily had driven my car yesterday, said hers was making a funny noise, took mine to work. I pocketed the wrapper and went inside. She was at the kitchen table with her laptop, still in her bathrobe, hair wet from the shower. "Morning," she said, not looking up. "Morning." I poured coffee, kept my voice level. "Hey, did Danny borrow my car recently?" She glanced up. "Danny? No, why?" "Just wondering. Thought maybe he took it out when we weren't looking." "He's got his own car, Tom. Why would he sneak yours?" She went back to her screen. I shrugged, drank my coffee, watched her. She looked the same as always. 42, still pretty, little lines around her eyes that crinkled when she smiled. She wasn't smiling now, just typing, her face blank and focused. "You still getting that noise in your car?" I asked. "What noise?" "You said yesterday. That's why you took mine." "Oh, yeah. It went away." She closed the laptop. "I need to shower and get ready. Doctor's appointment at 10. "I thought you showered already." "That was just a rinse. I need to actually wash my hair." She left the kitchen. I heard the bathroom door close, the water start up again. Second shower. She never took second showers. I sat down at the table and pulled out my phone, opened the app that tracked our shared credit card, scrolled back through the last week. Nothing unusual. Groceries, gas, her coffee shop. Then I saw it. 3 days ago. Lou's Auto Repair. $47. Lou's was on the east side. We lived west. Our regular mechanic was 2 blocks from the house. I opened my laptop, pulled up Google Maps, traced the route from Emily's office to Lou's. 12 minutes. From Lou's to our house, another 18. But she'd come home at her normal time that day. 6:30, like always. The water shut off upstairs. I closed the laptop. Danny came down around 9, shuffling in his basketball shorts and a ratty t-shirt. 17, all elbows and attitude. He grabbed the cereal box, poured milk straight from the jug. "Use a glass," I said. "Why? I'm drinking all of it." "Because that's disgusting." He rolled his eyes, kept drinking. I waited until he came up for air. "Hey, you been using condoms?" He choked, sprayed milk across the counter. "Jesus, Dad." "Simple question. Why are you—" "I'm not talking about this. You got a girlfriend I don't know about?" "No, God, can you not?" "Because if you're being safe, that's good. I'm glad. But if you're using my car to hook up, we need to talk about—" "I'm not using your car. I have my own car, and I'm not. This is insane." He slammed the milk jug down, stormed toward the stairs. "Danny." He stopped, turned. His face was red, genuinely confused and mortified. Not lying. I've been his father for 17 years. I know when he's lying. "Forget it," I said. "Sorry, just asking." He stared at me like I'd grown a second head, then disappeared upstairs. I heard his bedroom door slam. So, not Danny. Emily came down 20 minutes later, dressed in slacks and a blouse, makeup perfect, hair blown dry. She kissed my cheek on her way out. "See you tonight," she said. "What time?" 6, probably. Might stop at the store." "Which store?" She paused at the door, keys in hand. "I don't know, Tom. Whichever one I pass." "Why?" "Just curious." She studied me for a beat, then smiled. "You feeling okay?" "Fine." "Why?" "You're acting weird." "I'm fine." She left. I watched her pull out of the driveway in her Honda, the one that supposedly had a funny noise yesterday but was running perfectly smooth today. I called in sick to work. First time in 3 years. Then I got in my car and drove to Lou's Auto Repair. Lou's was a squat cinder-block building with 3 garage bays and a lot full of half-dead cars. The sign out front had rust bleeding through the paint. A Bell's Beer banner hung in the window next to a "We Fix Anything" placard that had seen better days. I parked across the street at a gas station, watched the place for an hour. 2 mechanics worked the bays, both older guys in greasy coveralls. A woman handled the front desk. No sign of Lou, assuming Lou was even still alive or involved. Around 11, a black Dodge Charger pulled up, and a guy got out. Mid-30s, built like he lifted weights between oil changes, wearing a wife beater that showed off sleeve tattoos. He walked into the shop like he owned it, slapped one of the mechanics on the back, laughed loud enough I could hear it across the street. Something about the way he moved, cocky, easy, like the world was a joke and he was in on it. I took a photo with my phone. He stayed inside maybe 10 minutes, came out with a coffee, leaned against the Charger scrolling his phone, lit a cigarette, scratched his stomach. My wife had been here 3 days ago, paid $47 for something. I drove home, printed the photo, tucked it in my desk drawer. That night, Emily came home at 6:40 with groceries. She made pasta, asked about my day, told me about her doctor appointment. Clean bill of health, everything normal. We watched TV until 10, went to bed, had the kind of sex we'd been having for the past 5 years. Comfortable, routine. She fell asleep with her back to me. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about that condom wrapper. 2 days later, she took my car again. "Battery light's on," she said Friday morning, dangling her keys. "I'll get it checked next week. Can I take yours?" "Sure." She kissed my cheek, left. I waited 30 minutes, then logged into our phone carrier's website. Found her phone, clicked locate device. She wasn't at her office. She was on the east side, 1 block from Lou's auto repair. I sat there watching the little blue dot, my coffee going cold. It didn't move for 45 minutes. Then it started heading west, back toward her office downtown. Arrived at 10:30, normal time. I called her at noon. "Hey, babe," she answered, sounding rushed. "What's up?" "Just checking in. How's your day?" "Crazy busy. Johnson account is a nightmare." "You in the office?" "Yeah, where else would I be?" "I don't know. Thought maybe you had outside meetings." "No, I'm chained to my desk. Why?" "No reason. What do you want for dinner?" We talked for another minute, nothing important, then hung up. I pulled up our bank account, checked the ATM withdrawals. $200 cash pulled Tuesday, another $150 on Thursday. Emily never used cash. Everything went on the card for points. I opened a browser, typed "private investigator near me," then closed it. Not yet. That weekend we went to Danny's basketball game. Emily cheered loud, held my hand, acted perfectly normal. We got pizza after, talked about Danny's college applications, laughed at his terrible jokes. She touched my arm when she talked, smiled at me across the table. I looked at her and saw a stranger. "Sunday night," she said. She needed to run to the office for a few hours, catch up on paperwork. "On Sunday?" I said. "I'm behind. Won't be long." She left at 7. I gave her 15 minutes, then got in my car and followed. She didn't go to her office. She drove east, took the highway, exited near Lou's. But she didn't go to Lou's. She went to a Motel 6, 2 miles down the road. I parked at the Denny's next door, watched her pull into the lot. She sat in her car for a few minutes, checking her phone. Then the black Charger pulled up next to her. The guy from the photo got out. She got out. They didn't touch, didn't kiss, just walked to room 118 like they'd done it 100 times before. I sat in the Denny's parking lot for 2 hours, hands gripping the steering wheel, breathing through my nose. The rage came in waves, hot, then cold, then hot again. I wanted to kick down that motel door, wanted to drag him outside and break his face on the pavement. But I didn't move. At 9:15, they came out. He lit a cigarette, said something that made her laugh. She punched his arm playfully. He grabbed her wrist, pulled her close, kissed her hard. She melted into him, her hand on his chest. I watched my wife of 19 years kiss another man under a buzzing motel sign, and something inside me went very, very quiet. She drove home. I waited 20 minutes, then followed. When I got home, she was on the couch in her pajamas, watching a cooking show. "Hey," she said. "How long were you gone?" "Just drove around. Needed to clear my head." "You okay?" "Yeah. Tired. I'm going to bed." I went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. Not yet, I thought. Not yet. Monday morning, I called out sick again. Told my boss I had a stomach thing. He bought it. After Emily left for work, I drove to Lou's and parked across the street. The Charger showed up at 8:30. The guy went inside, came out with a mechanic's uniform on, so he worked here. Probably Lou's son or nephew. Maybe Lou himself, for all I knew. I waited until 9, then walked across the street and into the shop. The woman at the front desk looked up from her phone. 50s, heavy makeup, bored expression. "Help you?" "Yeah, my wife brought her car here last week, Honda Accord. I wanted to follow up on what you guys did." "Name?" "Emily Brennan." She typed on her computer, squinted at the screen. "Oil change and tire rotation, 47 even." "That's it?" "That's what's in the system." "Who worked on it?" She clicked around. "Looks like Jay did the paperwork." "Jay?" "Yeah, he's in Bay 2 if you want to talk to him." I looked through the window into the garage. The tattooed guy was bent over an engine, ratchet in hand. "That's Jay?" "Yep." "What's his last name?" She gave me a look. "Why?" "Just want to make sure I'm talking to the right person. My wife mentioned him." Her expression shifted, something knowing crossing her face. "Keller. Jay Keller." I thanked her, walked into the garage bay. He didn't look up until I was standing right next to him. "Yeah?" he said, not unfriendly. "Just busy." "You worked on a Honda Accord last week. Silver. Emily Brennan." He straightened up, wiped his hands on a rag. Up close, he was taller than me, probably 6'2", arms thick as my thighs. He looked me up and down, and something clicked behind his eyes. "Yeah, what about it? I'm her husband." His face didn't change, didn't even blink. "Okay. Just wanted to make sure everything was good with the car. She said it was making a noise. Did an oil change, rotated the tires. She drove out happy. She been back since?" Now his mouth twitched, almost a smile. "Don't know. I see a lot of cars." We stood there looking at each other. Two men who both knew exactly what was happening, but neither saying it out loud. "You married?" I asked. "Nope." "Girlfriend?" "Not really your business, is it? Just making conversation." He tossed the rag on the workbench, crossed his arms. "Your wife's car is fine, man. Oil's changed, tires are good, that's all I got for you." "She mentioned you specifically. Said you were helpful. I'm helpful to everyone." "I bet you are." His jaw tightened. "We got a problem here?" "I don't know. Do we?" One of the other mechanics walked past, glanced at us, kept moving. Jay leaned in slightly, lowered his voice. "Look, I don't know what you think is going on, but I did an oil change on your wife's car. That's it. Now if you're done, I got work to do." "Sure," I said. "Thanks for your time." I walked out, got in my car, sat there breathing hard. He knew. He absolutely knew who I was, and he didn't care. Looked me dead in the eye and lied. I pulled out my phone, took another photo of the Charger, got the license plate this time. Then I drove home and started making plans. That night, Emily asked if I was feeling better. "Yeah," I said. "Stomach thing passed." "Good. You've been acting strange lately." "Have I?" "A little. Quiet." I smiled at her across the dinner table. "Just work stress. It's fine." She reached over, squeezed my hand. "You know you can talk to me, right? About anything." "I know. I love you. I love you too." The lie came easy. So did hers. After dinner, I went down to the basement, pulled out an old cardboard box from my college days. Inside were a bunch of textbooks, some old notebooks, And underneath it all, a slim book I'd bought as a joke 20 years ago at a used bookstore. The Art of Revenge, a practical guide. Some self-published thing from the 70s, filled with ridiculous schemes and over-the-top plots. The premise was simple. Don't react in anger, don't confront immediately. Watch, learn, gather evidence, wait for the perfect moment, then strike when they least expect it. Make it hurt worse than any immediate explosion ever could. I'd laughed at it in college. It seemed melodramatic and insane. Now it seemed like a blueprint. I spent the next week watching, learning their pattern. Emily went to the motel every Sunday and Wednesday, like clockwork. She told me she was working late Wednesdays, going to her book club Sundays. I verified with her book club friend Carol through a casual text. "Hey, what did Emily think of this week's book?" Carol responded, confused. "We haven't met in 2 months." So, established liar. I followed them 3 more times, watched them arrive separately, leave separately. They were careful, not careful enough. I started documenting everything, photos, times, locations. I opened a separate email account, sent it all to myself as insurance. Then I drove to Lou's on a Saturday when I knew Jay would be off and talked to the older mechanic, Frank, whose name I'd learned from eavesdropping. Told him I was thinking about bringing my car in, asked about the shop, made small talk, got him talking about Jay. "Good kid," Frank said. "Little rough around the edges, but he knows engines." "He own the place?" "Nah, Lou does. That's Jay's uncle. Jay just works here, blows his paycheck every weekend at the casino." "Casino guy, huh?" "Big time. Always talking about hitting it big. Between you and me, I think he's in a hole." "Debt?" Frank shrugged, realizing he'd said too much. "Not my business. You want to schedule something or not?" I scheduled an oil change for the following week, then left. So, Jay Keller was a gambler with debt. That was useful. Wednesday night, I told Emily I had a late meeting and wouldn't be home until 9. She said she was working late too. Perfect. Instead, I drove to the motel at 6 and waited in the parking lot of a closed-down Blockbuster across the street. Watched the Charger pull in at 7, followed by Emily's Honda 10 minutes later. At 7:30, a guy in a suit pulled up in a BMW parked near their room. He got out, looked around, knocked on a door 3 rooms down from theirs. A woman answered. They went inside. At 8, a family checked in. Mom, Dad, 2 kids. They unloaded suitcases from a minivan, disappeared into a room on the 2nd floor. Normal people doing normal things at a cheap motel. And then there was room 118. I thought about walking over there, pounding on the door, dragging him out and beating him bloody in the parking lot while Emily screamed. But I didn't, because Frank had told me something useful and I had an idea forming. I drove to the casino instead. 20 minutes south, huge parking lot, flashing lights. Inside was the usual scene, slots, tables, desperate people chasing dreams. I walked the floor for an hour, asked around, talked to a dealer during his break. "You know a guy named Jay Keller?" The dealer, a tired-looking man in his 50s, perked up. "Jay? Yeah, I know Jay. That guy owes half the people in here money." "He come in a lot?" "Every weekend, sometimes weeknights. Plays blackjack mostly. Wins sometimes, but he always gives it back." "How much you think he's down?" The dealer shrugged. "I don't know his exact numbers, but I've seen him arguing with Tommy B over by the poker room. You only argue with Tommy if you owe him serious cash." "Who's Tommy B?" "Someone you don't want to owe money to." I thanked him, slipped him $20, left. So Jay Keller had gambling debts to dangerous people, even better. I drove home, got there before Emily. When she arrived at 9:30, she looked tired, but satisfied. Told me about her difficult client meeting. "Sounds rough," I said. It was. "I need a shower." Another shower. Always another shower after the motel. I watched TV and planned. The next morning I called Lou's and scheduled an appointment for my car. Told them I wanted Jay specifically to look at it. Said my wife recommended him. The woman on the phone paused. Jay specifically? Yeah, my wife Emily spoke highly of him. Another pause. Sure, bring it by Friday at 2. Friday came. I drove to Lou's, parked in the lot. Jay came out when I pulled in, saw me, and his expression hardened. You again. Car's making a noise. Thought I'd bring it to the expert. He stared at me. What kind of noise? Rattling. Probably nothing, but I insisted I bring it here. Her name landed between us like a grenade. Pop the hood, he said finally. I did. He leaned in, checked the engine, wiggled some hoses, straightened up. Don't hear anything. Probably just road noise. You sure? Maybe take it for a test drive. I'm sure. Come on, man. I drove all the way here. Least you can do is take it around the block. He looked at me, then at the car, then back at me. Fine. Give me the keys. I handed them over. He got in, started it up, pulled out of the lot. I watched him drive away, then walked into the shop. The woman at the front desk looked up. He's taking it for a drive? Yeah. Hey, while I'm waiting, can I use your restroom? She pointed down a short hallway. I walked past the bathroom, kept going until I found a small break room. Lockers lined one wall. Most didn't have locks. I found Jay's by the name tag taped to it. Inside, a wallet, a phone charger, a bag of sunflower seeds, and a folded piece of paper. I unfolded it. A payment plan from the casino. He owed $12,000. Payments of $500 a month, already 3 months behind. I took a photo with my phone, put everything back, closed the locker, walked back to the front desk just as Jay pulled into the lot. Everything's fine, he said, tossing me the keys. No charge. You sure? Yeah, it's fine. He walked past me into the garage bay, didn't look back. I drove away, smiling. That Sunday I followed Emily to the motel again, but this time I didn't just watch. I went to the front desk, told the clerk I'd lost my room key, said I was in 118. She looked at her computer. That room's already occupied. I know. I'm one of the occupants. Got locked out. I need to see ID matching the reservation. My buddy made the reservation, Jay Keller. Can you call the room? She picked up the phone, dialed. It rang 6 times, no answer. Sorry, no answer. He's probably in the shower. Look, I just need to grab my wallet. I'll be 2 minutes. She hesitated, then made me a new key. 2 minutes. And next time, keep track of your key. I took the key, walked to room 118, stood outside the door. Heard music playing inside. Emily laughed at something. I slid the key in, opened the door. They were on the bed, half-dressed, frozen mid-kiss. Emily saw me first. Her face went white. Tom. I stepped inside, closed the door behind me. Jay scrambled off the bed, grabbing for his jeans. Easy, I said. Just came to talk. Get out, Jay said, still struggling with his pants. This is awkward, right? I feel like this is awkward. Emily stood up, clutching a sheet around herself. Tom, let me explain. Explain what? That you've been screwing a mechanic in a motel room every Sunday and Wednesday for the past 2 months? I think I got that figured out. Please, just... How much does he charge? More than $47, I'm guessing. Jay stepped forward. You need to leave. Now. Or what? You'll kick my ass? In front of my wife? Tom, stop, Emily said, crying now. Please, just... I ignored her, kept my eyes on Jay. You know she's married. You know she's got a kid. You know all that, and you're still here. She came to me, man. I didn't... You didn't what? Didn't pursue her? Didn't encourage it? Just did an oil change and she threw herself at you? He didn't answer. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to stop seeing my wife. You're going to stop taking her calls. You're going to disappear. And if you don't, I'm going to make your life very difficult. He laughed. Actually laughed. You threatening me? I'm promising you. Get the hell out before I throw you out. I looked at Emily. She was still crying, mascara running down her face, looking small and pathetic, wrapped in that cheap motel sheet. We'll talk at home, I said to her. Then I left, drove home, parked in the driveway, went inside, sat on the couch, waited. She came home 2 hours later, red eyes, shaking hands. Tom, don't. Please let me. How long? She stood in the doorway, trembling. 3 months. 3 months. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Do you love him? No. No, it was just what? Just sex? Just fun? Just something to do on slow Sundays? I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I made a mistake. I laughed, cold and sharp. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This is a choice. You chose him. Every Sunday, every Wednesday, you chose him. Tom, please, I want to fix this. I want to fix us. There is no us. There's you, and there's him, and there's me sitting here like an idiot. She came toward me, reaching out. I stood up, stepped back. Don't touch me. Tom, get out of my sight. She ran upstairs, sobbing. I heard the bedroom door close. I sat back down on the couch and stared at the wall. It wasn't enough. None of this was enough. The next morning, Emily tried to talk to me. I brushed past her, went to work, came home late. She tried again. I ignored her. This went on for 3 days. She slept in the guest room. Danny asked what was wrong. I told him we were working through some things. Are you getting divorced? He asked, worried. I don't know yet. That scared him. Good. He should know what his mother did. On Thursday, I drove to the casino, found Tommy B by the poker room. Big guy, expensive suit, cold eyes. I told him I had information about one of his debtors. Who? Jay Keller. His expression sharpened. What about him? He came into some money recently. Girlfriend's been giving him cash. He's been hiding it from you. How do you know? I know his girlfriend. She's stupid and talks too much. Tommy studied me. Why you telling me this? Because he's been screwing my wife, and I want him to hurt. A slow smile spread across Tommy's face. Fair enough. Thanks for the tip. I left before he could ask more questions. 2 days later, Jay's Charger was missing from Lou's parking lot. I asked Frank where Jay was. Called in sick, 2 days now. He ever do that before? Frank shook his head. Never. I drove by Jay's apartment that night. Saw him through the window, pacing, talking on the phone, looking stressed. His face was bruised, lips split. Tommy worked fast. Sunday came. Emily got dressed, said she was going to Carol's house. Actual Carol's house this time, I assumed. Trying to rebuild her alibi. Stay home, I said. What? I want you home. We need to talk. Okay, we can talk. We sat in the living room. She looked hopeful. Thought maybe I was ready to forgive. I want a divorce, I said. Her face crumpled. No, Tom, no, please. I want the house. I want full custody of Danny. You can have your car and whatever clothes you can fit in it. You can't. I can. I have proof, photos, dates, times, locations. I have everything. She stared at me, horrified. You followed me? For weeks. That's insane. What's insane is you screwing a grease monkey in a motel while I paid your car insurance. Tom, please. I made a mistake. I know I did. But we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can... There's nothing to fix. You broke it. You killed it. And now it's over. She dissolved into tears. I sat there, watching her, feeling nothing. I filed for divorce the next day, served her papers at work, let her coworkers see, let her boss see, let everyone know. She called me crying. You humiliated me. Good. I hate you. That's fine. I moved into a hotel, left her the house temporarily. She could have it for now. I'd get it later in the settlement. Danny stayed with me. He was old enough to choose. When I told him why we were splitting up, his face went hard. Mom cheated? Yes. With who? Does it matter? I guess not. He looked at me. Are you okay? I will be. He hugged me. First time in years. I held on to him and thought about how Emily had risked losing this. Losing him. For what? For Jay Keller? 2 weeks later, Frank called me. Hey, I don't know if you heard, but Jay doesn't work here anymore. Oh yeah? Yeah. Had some trouble with some gambling debts. Got roughed up pretty bad. Had to leave town. Heard he's in Ohio now, staying with family. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Anyway, your oil change is coming up if you want to schedule. I scheduled it for the following week. When I showed up, Lou himself was working. Old guy, 70s, looked tired. Heard Jay left, I said. Yeah, kid couldn't stay out of trouble. He was seeing my wife. Lou looked up from the engine. What? Jay. He was sleeping with my wife. That's why I kept coming around. Wanted to see what kind of guy steals another man's wife. Lou's face went red. I didn't know. I swear I didn't. I know, not your fault. But your nephew's a piece of garbage, and I'm glad he's gone. Lou nodded slowly. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about your wife. Don't be. I'm not. I paid for the oil change and left. That night, Emily called. Jay's gone, she said. I know. Did you do something? I just gave some people some information. What they did with it was up to them. Tom, he could have been killed. But he wasn't. He's fine. He's in Ohio. He's out of our lives. That's all that matters. She was quiet for a long time. I don't know who you are anymore. Funny. I was thinking the same thing about you. She hung up. The divorce took 6 months. I got the house. Got primary custody of Danny. Emily got her car, her clothes, and a small settlement that barely covered her lawyer fees. Her friends stopped calling her. Her book club kicked her out. The people at her office treated her differently after the whole thing came out. She moved into a small apartment on the east side, near where Lou's used to be. The shop closed down 3 months after Jay left. Lou retired. The building's for sale now? Emily tried to apologize a dozen times. Sent texts, emails, left voicemails. I blocked her number except for messages about Danny. Danny forgave her eventually. He's a better person than me. He has dinner with her every other week, tells me she's doing okay. Working a different job now, smaller company, less pay. I don't ask for details. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I was at a bar with some co-workers when I saw Jay Keller walk in. He looked different, thinner, hair cut short. The cocky swagger was gone, replaced by something cautious. He saw me, froze, then turned to leave. Jay, I called out. He stopped. I walked over to him. We stood in the doorway, people squeezing past us. You're back, I said. Yeah, just visiting. Leave tomorrow. Ohio not working out? It's fine. Job's fine. Life's fine. Good. He looked at me, and for the first time I saw something real in his face. Regret, maybe, or just exhaustion. Look, man, I'm sorry. About your wife, about everything. I was messed up back then. Gambling, drinking, wasn't thinking straight. You thought straight enough to meet her at a motel twice a week. He nodded. Yeah, I did. And I'm sorry. You should be. She was a mess after you found out. Called me crying, saying you'd destroyed her life. I didn't destroy anything. She did that herself. I know. I told her that. Told her she shouldn't blame you. But she did anyway. He shifted his weight. Looked uncomfortable. She really loved you. You know. For whatever that's worth. It's not worth much. No, I guess not. He glanced at the door. I should go. Yeah, you should. He left. I watched him get into a beat-up Honda Civic and drive away. I went back to the bar, ordered another beer. One of my co-workers asked who that was. Nobody, I said. Just someone I used to know. A year after the divorce, I was at Danny's graduation. The mechanic's wife, Continued Jay left. I watched him get into a beat-up Honda Civic and drive away. The bar's neon buzzed behind me, and I felt the weight of the last year settle into my bones. Emily was gone, living in her sad little apartment. Danny was growing up, pulling away like kids do. And me? I was still here, holding the pieces of a life I didn't recognize anymore. I went back to the bar, ordered another beer. My coworker, Mike, raised an eyebrow. "You sure you're okay, Tom? Looked like you saw a ghost." "Nah," I said, forcing a grin. "Just an old pest I thought was gone for good." He didn't push. Good guy, Mike. Knew when to shut up. I sipped my beer, thinking about Jay's face, the regret or whatever it was. Didn't matter. He was out of my life and Emily was too. But something nagged at me, like an itch I couldn't scratch. It wasn't enough. The divorce, the house, Danny choosing me. It was a win, sure, but it didn't feel finished. Emily was still out there, playing the victim to anyone who'd listen. Jay was breathing easy in Ohio. And me? I was still waking up to the ghost of her perfume on the pillows. I paid my tab, drove home, and sat in the dark. The house was too big now, just me and Danny rattling around. He'd be off to college in a year, and then what? I pulled out my laptop, opened the folder with my evidence. Photos, timestamps, that casino payment plan. I hadn't looked at it in months, but it was all still there, a digital knife I could twist any time. I didn't sleep that night. Danny's graduation was a circus. Our small town packed the high school gym, all sweat and cheap perfume, parents snapping photos like their kids were movie stars. I sat in the third row, alone, clapping when Danny crossed the stage in his blue cap and gown. He grinned, all teeth, and waved at me. My chest tightened. He was a good kid, better than either of his parents deserved. Emily was there too, across the aisle, dressed in a navy dress that looked like it cost more than her rent. She caught my eye once, nodded, then looked away. Her sister Ellen sat next to her, whispering something that made Emily's lips tighten, probably telling her to behave. After the ceremony, I found Danny in the parking lot, surrounded by his buddies. He hugged me, his cap crooked. "Thanks for coming, Dad. Wouldn't miss it," I said. "Proud of you." Emily approached, hesitant, like she was stepping on broken glass. "Danny, honey, congratulations." He hugged her, but it was quick, polite. "Thanks, Mom." "Can we take a picture?" she asked, holding up her phone. Danny glanced at me. I shrugged. "Go ahead." They posed, her arm around his shoulders, both smiling stiffly. Ellen snapped the photo. I stood back, watching the crowd mill around, feeling like an outsider in my own life. Emily came over after. "Tom, can we talk? Just for a minute?" I crossed my arms. "What's there to say?" "It's Danny's day. I don't want to ruin it." "Then don't." She sighed, looked at her feet. "I'm trying to be better. I'm in therapy now. I know I messed up, but—" "Save it, Emily. This isn't the time." She nodded, walked away. Ellen shot me a dirty look, but I didn't care. I wasn't here for them. That night, Danny and I got burgers at the diner. He talked about college, his plans for engineering at State. I listened, nodded, tried to focus, but my mind kept drifting to Emily's face, her attempt at playing nice. Therapy. Like that could erase 3 months of motel sheets and lies. "You okay, Dad?" Danny asked mid-fry. "Yeah, just tired." "You sure? You've been weird since Mom showed up." I forced a smile. "It's fine. Let's talk about you. Got a dorm picked out yet?" He let it go, but his eyes lingered on me. He knew something was brewing. Kids always do. The next week, I started hearing the rumors. Emily was telling people I'd driven Jay out of town, that I'd threatened his life over her mistake. She was spinning it like I was the villain, the jealous husband who couldn't let go. I heard it from Mike at work, who heard it from his wife, who heard it at the grocery store. Small towns are like that. Gossip spreads faster than wildfire. I didn't correct it. Let her talk. Every lie she told was another nail in her coffin. But I wasn't done with her, or Jay, not by a long shot. I called a buddy, Greg, who worked at the county clerk's office. Owed me a favor from a tax mess I'd sorted for him years ago. "Can you dig into someone's financials for me?" I asked. "Who?" "Jay Keller, used to work at Lou's Auto." "What am I looking for?" "Anything. Debts, liens, whatever." Greg called back 2 days later. "Guy's a mess. Owes 12 grand to the casino, another 5 to a credit union, missed payments on both, and get this, there's a lien on his old Charger, repossessed last month." "Where's he living now?" "Got an address in Toledo. Shitty apartment from what I can tell." "Thanks, Greg." "Don't do anything stupid, Tom." "Me? Never." I hung up, opened my laptop, and started typing. Anonymous emails, sent to every contact I could find for Jay's new life in Ohio. His landlord, his new boss at some auto shop, even his neighbors, based on public records. I didn't lie, just laid out the truth. Jay Keller's gambling debts, his missed payments, his history of dodging creditors. I attached the photo of his casino payment plan, the one I'd snapped in his locker. Let them draw their own conclusions. Then I turned to Emily. Her new job was at a small law firm, a step down from her old paralegal gig. I knew her boss, Linda, from a charity golf thing years back. I sent Linda an email, too, from a burner account. Nothing vicious, just a heads up about Emily's reliability issues and a vague mention of her personal entanglements affecting her work. I included a screenshot of the motel check-in records I'd sweet-talked out of the clerk. Subtle, but enough to make Linda think twice. By the end of the week, Emily's car was parked at her apartment all day. No job to go to. I drove by, saw her curtains drawn, a pizza box on her porch. She was unraveling, and I hadn't even lifted a finger. Friday night, I was at Murphy's Pub, nursing a whiskey, when I heard Jay's name again. Some guy at the bar, half drunk, was telling a story about how Jay had skipped town like a coward after owing Tommy B money. I listened, quiet, sipping my drink. The guy didn't know I was connected, didn't know I'd tipped Tommy off. Then the door swung open, and there he was. Jay Keller, back in town, looking worse than last time. His face was gaunt, eyes shadowed, like he hadn't slept in weeks. He didn't see me at first, just ordered a beer and leaned against the bar, staring at the floor. I waited until he was on his second drink, then walked over. "Didn't expect to see you back so soon," I said. He jumped, nearly dropped his bottle. "Jesus, Tom. Thought you were in Ohio. New life, new job, all that." "I'm just visiting. Family stuff." "Sure." I leaned in, voice low. "Heard you got some trouble down there. Landlord problems? Boss giving you grief?" His eyes narrowed. "What do you know about it?" "Small world. People talk. You been digging into me?" I smiled. "Didn't have to. You're not exactly good at covering your tracks." He set his bottle down, hard. "You're a real piece of work, you know that? Acting like you're some saint. Your wife came to me, man. I didn't chase her." "You didn't say no either." He stepped closer, breath sour with beer. "You want to do this? Right here?" The bar went quiet, heads turning. I didn't back down. "You're not worth the bruise." He shoved me, not hard, but enough to make a point. I laughed, loud and mean. "That's it? That's what you've got?" He swung. I saw it coming, ducked, and his fist hit the bar counter instead. He cursed, clutching his hand. The bartender, Pete, stepped in. "Out, both of you." I raised my hands, walked out. Jay followed, still cursing, his knuckles red. In the parking lot, I turned to him. "You come back to this town again, you'll regret it." "You don't scare me," he said, but his voice shook. "Then why are you running?" He didn't answer, just got in his Civic and peeled out. I stood there watching his taillights disappear, feeling the adrenaline burn through me. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. Emily called the next day, voice raw. "What did you do to Jay?" "Nothing he didn't earn." He said you attacked him at Murphy's. Attacked? He threw a punch and missed. Not my fault he's got bad aim. Tom, stop it. Just stop. You're ruining everything. Me? I'm not the one who ruined us, Emily. That was you spreading your legs for a loser in a motel room. She gasped, like I'd slapped her through the phone. You're a monster. No, I'm just done playing nice. I hung up, my hands shaking. I didn't feel good, didn't feel proud, just empty, but I wasn't stopping. That week, I leaned harder into the gossip mill, told a few key people, Mike's wife, the church secretary, about Emily's struggles and how she'd lost her way. Nothing explicit, just enough to keep the whispers alive. By Sunday, she'd been uninvited from the town's annual barbecue. Danny told me she'd cried when she found out. She's not doing great, Dad, he said, looking guilty. She made her bed. He didn't argue, but I saw the hurt in his eyes. I hated that I was part of it, but Emily had drawn the lines, not me. A month later, I got a call from Greg at the clerk's office. You still interested in Jay Keller? Yeah. Why? He's back in town, rented a trailer on the outskirts. Word is, he's trying to start his own shop. I laughed. With what money? That's the thing. He's got a new investor, some woman. My blood went cold. Emily? Nah, someone else. Older. Rich. Met her at the casino, I hear. I didn't care about the investor. The fact that Jay was back, trying to claw his way up, lit a fire in me. He didn't get to do that. Not here. I drove to his trailer that night, a run-down thing off a dirt road. His Civic was parked out front, next to a shiny new toolbox. I didn't knock, just sat in my car, watching. An hour later, a woman pulled up in a Lexus. 50s, expensive coat, laughing as she stepped inside. Jay's new sugar mama, I guessed. I took photos, sent them to Tommy B's email, the one I'd found through Greg. Your boy's back, I wrote. Looks like he's got cash again. 2 days later, Jay's trailer was empty. Civic gone. Toolbox gone. Word around town was Tommy's guys had paid him a visit. He wouldn't be back. Emily called me that night, screaming. You did this! You ran him out again! Didn't have to do much, I said. He's got a talent for screwing himself. You're sick, Tom. You're obsessed. Maybe. But you don't get to lecture me about obsession, not after what you did. She hung up, sobbing. I didn't care anymore. The final piece fell into place at the town's 4th of July fair. I'd avoided Emily for weeks, kept my distance, let the town do its work. But there she was, working a booth for her new job, a temp agency, bottom of the barrel. She looked tired, her hair pulled back, no makeup. The crowd parted around her like she was contagious. I walked up, casual, hands in my pockets. Nice booth, I said. She froze, then forced a smile. What do you want, Tom? Just saying hi. Looks like you're doing great. Stop it, just stop. Stop what? Being friendly? You know what you've done. You've turned everyone against me. My job, my friends, my life. You took it all. You took it from yourself, Emily. You and Jay. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. I hate you. Good. Hate's honest. Better than the lies you fed me for months. A few people nearby turned, listening. I didn't lower my voice. You thought you could play me, Emily. Thought you could sneak around, screw your mechanic, and I'd just take it. But I didn't. And now you're here, selling raffle tickets for a job you hate in a town that doesn't want you. Her face crumpled. She stepped out from behind the booth, shaking. You're a bastard. And you're a cheat. Guess we're both disappointments. She slapped me hard, the sound cutting through the fair's noise. The crowd gasped, phones coming out. I didn't flinch, just smiled. Feel better? She ran, pushing through the crowd, tears streaming. I stood there, letting everyone see, letting the whispers spread. By morning, she'd be the talk of the town again, and not in a good way. I walked away, past the cotton candy and the Ferris wheel, out to my car. The night was warm, the air thick with summer. I lit a cigarette, watched the smoke curl up to the stars. Emily was broken. Jay was gone. Danny was mine. The town had done its job, and so had I. I drove home, the road stretching out dark and quiet. The house was empty. Danny at a friend's, the future wide open. I sat on the porch, finished my cigarette, and felt the weight lift. Not joy, not peace, just the absence of something heavy I'd carried too long. Emily would keep falling. Jay would keep running. And me? I was done.